Okay, so unless you've been living under a rock, you probably already know that communication is incredibly important to having really satisfying relationships, particularly your sexual and intimate ones, but honestly, all of your relationships. But how do we enhance our communication and how do we do it in a way that is really focused on bridging and deepening connection? That is what we're going to talk about today. And also, it's going to be a little dance around alliteration with the letter C because I love that letter and I love alliteration. So here we go. Bear with me. And if you are an alliteration fan, you're going to love this too. Five C's for really, really deepening connection through your communication skills: curiosity, candor, compassion, consideration, and creativity. These five are your buddies, they're your friends, they are the way that you can really lean in and open up a dialogue between you and your person, your people, whomever it might be, that gets you talking about and relating around the things that matter most. So, curiosity, let's start there. Many of us show up for meaningful conversations, hard conversations, whatever way you want to look at it, with something of an agenda. And very few of us are really, really, truly hanging out in a space of curiosity about the other person's experience. At least I speak for myself. This has been a major growth edge for me, and it continues to be. And I see this in a lot of other people too. So, cultivating genuine curiosity. What is it like for the other person? Asking open ended questions, suspending judgment, really leaning in, saying, how is this for you? Why do you feel this way? What is most important? So on and so forth. Bring your curiosity to the forefront. That way, you have an opportunity to actually get to know something deeper, something perhaps novel and new to you about the other person. And when we can be the model of curiosity, oftentimes we have that reciprocated. It comes right back around to us. There's an opportunity for us to then share things about ourselves to stoke the other person's curiosity, as it were. And we end up being more honest and more revealed, which is really where we want to go if we care about a deep and abiding intimacy in our connections. The next one, candor, honesty, openness, speaking your truth. This is so fundamental and yet so often overlooked because we are trying to be polite or we don't want to ruffle feathers or we're afraid that if we say what's real for us, we're going to be rejected, whatever the reason may be. There are many. I really want to invite that speaking candidly about what is true for us is always only going to enhance things. Why would we want to be relating with anything less than my truth and your truth laid out on the table between us? Now, that being said, there are ways to speak truthfully. We can be candid and still be compassionate. That's our next C. Compassion is a way of really leaning into the shared humanity, the vulnerability of any two or more humans opening up and sharing themselves. Be compassionate about whatever you might already know about the person you're speaking to, their sensitivities, their preferences, just really holding that in mind. Be compassionate that, we all are going through what we're going through. I know very, very few people who aren't on a daily basis struggling on some level or another. I'd love to think that we are all living in a world where we thrive abundantly. That's the world that I want to create. I'm sure you do too. And yet we do need to be compassionate with our humanity and the fact that we have some down days and things that are hard, and give grace both to ourselves and to our precious others when we are having meaningful conversations. We're not going to do it perfectly all the time, and that's okay. This extends to consideration. That's our next C. But I want you to think about consideration on a slightly more like practical, utilitarian level. For instance, I'm a morning person who goes to bed pretty early. If you want to have an important conversation with me after 8 p.m., you are not going to get me at my most resource self. Honestly, 7 p.m. might be pushing it. So the people who know me well, they're not going to try to engage me at that time of day. And the same holds true for all of us. We have times when our energy and attention is going to be more optimal and when it's less. If you're trying to talk to somebody when it is the busiest time of day, or their resources are depleted, or there's a lot of distraction, that is not actually very considerate. So a considerate way to broach a conversation would be a lighthearted check-in like, hey, I hope we can connect. I'd love to chat with you. Maybe you say about such and such topic. What would be a great time for you? So we can find an opportunity to sit down that works for both of us instead of just launching something at somebody without their consent. There's a bonus C for you, consent. And our last one, creativity. There are so many scripts that we are following, whether we realize it or not, about the right way and the wrong way to be a human, basically, to be in a relationship, certainly. So, creativity is an invitation to really lean into what would be most nourishing, supportive, expansive, delightful for you and the other person or people that you are relating with. This extends not only to your communication, but also how do you spend time together? How do you structure every and any aspect of your relationship? A willingness to think outside of the box, to experiment, to try some new things on, to find what actually feels like a good fit is always going to be a gift. Worst case, you learn something that you don't want to repeat. Best case, you learn something that really works for you and you keep doing that. So again, our 5 C's for really connected communication: curiosity, candor, compassion, consideration, and creativity. I really hope that these will serve you well. I would love to hear about it. Please drop me a comment, reach out. And if you want more focused support from me in the year ahead, self-guided journeys are available online. Working privately with me might be an option. So be in touch and let's see what we can make happen. Whatever the case, I am rooting for you on your journey to erotic wholeness. And I hope that you're subscribed so that we'll see each other here again soon. Bye.